What's up? What's up? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Make sure y'all hit that like button and sub to the channel too. And also hit them notifications and share this video too, okay? And I want to give a shout out to the brother, True the King TV. Definitely go sub to True the King, all right? Trying to tell him that another drive. Definitely go sub to True the King TV. I know he wasn't too pleased about what took place last night in Boston or whatnot, but nah, just messing with him, man. But nah, go sub to his channel, man. He talks about a wide variety of things. He's actually one of the few guys in the LDBC, besides a couple of guys that I'm able to discuss football with, because there's a couple guys that don't really do the football thing like that anymore. He also talks about basketball, as well as boxing, and as well as hip hop too. So go sub to his channel. Now, yes, I'm gonna get right to it. You seen last night why Tyrese Maxey is an all-star. More importantly, you seen last night why Tyrese Maxey, why I said he should be our main player and they should build around Tyrese Maxey. I'm going to be real with everybody right here, okay? And y'all probably going to say, oh, well, you capping and everything, but it's going to take some time to see. You're not going to see it right away, okay? The game is going to speed up if we have it built around Maxey. And here's why. Because he plays at a pace like a traditional point guard should. Now, did he need to slow down? Yes, because like Emmanuel Quickly and SGA, they came out of college, they came out of school with that burst of energy. They came out of school with that burst of energy. And with the NBA, it takes a while, and at the pro level, it takes a while for you to, to slow down. Now, I want the team constructed around Maxey because Maxey is more durable. You see, last night he was back on the court. Maxey has to really be hurt in order for something, in order for something to keep him out. Him putting up 51, that wasn't nothing new. Maxey put up 40 earlier in the year. I think people forget about that, and he's had a few 30 pluses here and there. Maxey is a reliable scorer, because whenever you double team Joel, or whenever somebody else gets double teamed, now it's gotten to the point where you can't leave this guy open like that. And then on top of that, he could take you to the cup. Okay, that's what I really like about him, because he's able to first step your ass and take you right there. He is so explosive. I don't know why everybody, Joel Embiid. Yeah, Joel is good, but he slows the game down. And if you go back and you go look at the way that the Sixers used to play, our style was really a lot similar to what especially when you talk about the 80s, it was the tempo was much faster pace. And I think we've gotten to that point where, okay, yeah, we gotta slow things down because of Joel Embiid. We also had to slow things down somewhat because we had James Harden. Now, I'm not gonna lie. One of the things that I did like about Ben Simmons is that he used to push the pace. Ben Simmons used to really push the pace. He had good change of pace. I will give Ben Simmons that. It was just his offensive bag and his repertoire wasn't much there, and some of his tendencies. But see, with Maxey, he's going to work on all of that. He's a point guard that can score. He can be today's point guard, and he also can do the traditional thing as far as being a point guard, looking for others, facilitating and everything. I know everybody is saying, move on from Joel, move on from Joel. It's not gonna be that easy, okay? Because then, if we just straight flat out just move on from Joel, because the likelihood of Joel coming back, I mean, it's slim to none. And then when he does come back, everybody's like pushing for this guy to, come back, by the playoffs. But you got to think about history. Look at history and what has taken place with this guy. Like I've told you time and time again. Okay? He'll get out there. He'll start playing and everything. And then next thing you know, he's hurt with something else. Never 100%. In the playoffs, okay, that's the time when we need guys, at least 90%, man. At least 90%. Because nobody's 90% in the NBA with all the the bumps and the bruises and the daily grind, the fatigue factor. Nobody is ever 100%, okay? But in the playoffs, everything slows down. Guys are tired. Some guys are hurt and won't admit it. Some guys are playing through injuries and won't admit it. And with Joel Embiid, that's been his biggest thing. Besides some of his free throw woes down the stretch. But I think that, you moving on from Joel Embiid, I mean, it is a good idea because the Joel Embiid era is coming to a close. He's 29 years old, going into his 30s, all right? With his injury history. Think about it. He has an eye socket injury, right? He has a hand injury, okay? Had an LCL in his with his knee. Then also a meniscus, and now a meniscus tear again, in which the knee soreness was already bothering him from time to time. And you also got to think he came into the league with injuries. Okay? Now, I'm not saying his injury history is as much as somebody like Anthony Davis, where every time you see him, he's on the ground. But that's why I made a video and I said, hey, is this guy wanting to become the new street clothes? Because that's what he's becoming, the new street clothes. Because every time, you can never count on him because he's hurt. And listen, everybody thinks that I'm out here, oh, you must have something personal against Joel Embiid. No, it's not personal. I really don't want, as great as a talent as Joel Embiid is, you don't want him to end up like some of the great scorers and some of the great players that have touched the hardwood and fell victim because of injury. You know, like a Penny Hardaway, like a Grant Hill, Jamal Mashburn, Amari Stoudemire. I think people forget how good Amari Stoudemire was. Some people might not agree with that, but if you go back and you look at Amari Stoudemire before he got hurt, man, that dude was making noise. And we don't want him to end up like that. I don't want Joel to end up like that, but in all likelihood, that's what's going to happen, and that's what it's coming to. Because he's never available at the right time. And that's why I always use Joker as a measuring stick. But to get back to Maxey, yes, he's the guy right now. And he didn't complain or anything like that. I know we played against the Jazz, but nevertheless, I mean, everybody, I talked to one of my friends, and he was like, hey, y'all might as well just call it quit and everything like that. But look, it's just like with the Lakers. Just because LeBron isn't there, just because AD isn't there, we got to stop all this. Oh, yeah, well, this guy ain't there. We might as well just give it up. No, that's what you in the league for. That's what you playing basketball for, and that's what you are a backup for and on the bench for, is to come in and hopefully replace that guy. We're not saying that you're going to be better than that guy, and you possibly could. But the thing about it is you're supposed to fill a void. Not just be like, oh, you know what, nah. You know what, man, man, we playing against Boston, or we playing against Denver. You know, we might as well just give up. No. And that's what separates a guy like Tyrese Maxey in comparison to Joel Embiid. And see, another thing that y'all don't realize about Joel Embiid too, the reason why I kind of want to move on from this guy and I'm over him, is because he makes a lot of excuses and he cries a lot. Look, a lot of people talk about how players over time be crying and complaining. Well, you got to put Joel Embiid up there too, man. You know, you got to put him up there too. He did the same shit that James Harden did, which was, you know, crying about MVP. Then you crying and complaining about, you know, at one point you were crying and complaining about trusting the process. You were crying and complaining about Ben Simmons, which to a degree I understand. You were crying and complaining about Doc Rivers. You were crying and complaining about, you know, oh well, and now I think you probably crying and complaining about, oh, haven't I done enough in the 65 game stretch, or within the 65 game stretch below that in order to get MVP? You probably crying and complaining about that. And like I said, you shouldn't even be worried about, the last thing you need to be worried about is an MVP. You need to be worried about if you're going to be able to walk the same within the next 10 to 15 years, yet alone play, and also be able to play with your kids someday. Because all of these injuries and stuff like that you are sustaining, it is going to catch up to you. Everybody thinks you're going to be 20 forever. Everybody thinks that you're going to be a teenager forever. It don't work like that, man. Especially when the seasons change and stuff like that, you'll start feeling them. But I'm not trying to get all philosophical, but I mean, it's the truth. And the one thing that we're never going to do is win a championship with this guy. I've already said it. So I think the Joel Embiid era is coming to a close. You know, like I said, trading him would be, you know, difficult, because then, you know, we have to still develop chemistry. We got to find out what works. I'm pretty sure Nick Nurse can make it work. I got a lot of faith in Nick Nurse. I also got a lot of faith in our front court, especially when we talk about Mo Bamba, who I still think has a lot of potential, and also with Paul Reed, who everybody just looks over. And we still have the veteran leadership of Pat Bev. Okay, he can't do some of the things. He never was a scorer like that or anything like that. He was known as a defender. But what's slept on about Pat Bev is his mentality and his ability to motivate players. And I think him being around Pat Bev, when I talk about Tyrese Maxey, that's going to help him. That's going to help him bring that dog out of him, because he's already got that dog in him. And shit, you seen it last night, putting up a 50 piece. So y'all let me know what you think. Y'all leave your comments. Make sure you like this video, share it. Subscribe to the channel if you are not a member, and also hit the notification. It's straight to the point. I'll get at y'all later.